Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today, it's going to be a game between ShoWTimE and Ragnarok. Here on King's Cove, the latter edition, bottom right-hand corner, the red Zerg player, it is Ragnarok. And in the top left-hand corner, it is the blue Protoss player, ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE is the greatest foreign Protoss player in the world currently. Wait, maybe Neve is higher at this point. Hold on, let me pull up the WCS standings. And Ragnarok is a Korean Zerg player. WCS standings SC2. Nope, hang on. No, that's not what I want. There we go. Cyril Raynor Neeb. Hey, check it out. Neeb is still higher. I thought ShoWTimE had overcome him. Anyway, so it's not Neeb, but ShoWTimE is the second highest Protoss player on the rankings. It goes Cyril Raynor Neeb, Special, Hero Marine, Time, ShoWTimE, a Laser, Scarlet, and a Petite Drogo for the top 10. It's a pretty good distribution of races. I think there are 4 Zerg, 2 Protoss, and 3 Terran. It's not bad. It's not like all Zerg, right? And there's 3 Terran in there too. Good job, Special. Keep it up, man. Okay, so what are we doing in the game here today? 1 gate expand from ShoWTimE, nothing too crazy. Hatch first from Ragnarok over there as well. Yada, yada, yada. Check out Falcon Paladin Hour. It is an every weekly podcast with me and Somicron talking about StarCraft and the curse that Somicron can visit upon professional esports players, man. It is a serious power at this point. If he chooses somebody to win, they do not win. Bad things happen. So, if you have somebody in your life that, like, you don't want to see them win, maybe you can hire Somicron out to, to curse them. That seems morally wrong. Maybe we should do that. Anywho, what's Ragnarok up to here? La 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 la, natural base going down, pool gonna finish. Does he go for the 3rd hatch before the queens? The answer is no. He likes his queens. Gets 1 started here, 1 started here. So he's not doing the solar strat, which if you watched the solar versus stats series that I posted on Sunday, which if you didn't, why not? First of all, that was an amazing, amazing best of 7 series. He likes that build a lot. He used it pretty much every game, I think. Spoilers, I suppose. But here, Ragnarok not going for the 3rd base really at this point. This is really suspicious. If I'm ShoWTimE, I'm like, all right, we're at that 3rd base. A 2-basing Zerg is much more aggressive and much harder for me to handle than a 3-basing Zerg. But there we go. Tossing it down to about 245, so nothing too crazy. I'm just used to solar is all. I'm just used to solar. Throwing down that 3rd base and having it almost done by this point. So everything is cool. Queen out. Creep Tumor here, Adept on the way. Nothing too nuts. ShoWTimE is not going crazy. He's also throwing up a Yield, a Stargate to open this thing and to make it ready for action. I am pretty low on Oracle names, guys, so if you want to submit a few, I wouldn't say no to that. I like Oracle names, they're fun. So it's going to be a Phoenix first, which really does at this point indicate it's going to be an Oracle afterwards. That's just the meta as it stands. Adept doesn't really want to get onto that creep too far. Going to shade on in. Important to see. Roach Warren, Lair, no, perfect. We're good. Totally good. No speed roaches coming across the map to kill me at anytime soon. And the Oracle's name is gonna be Flying Taco. Named after a Terran dish lost in the mists of time. This Oracle is ready to sound the last bell for his enemies. Taco Bell. Do I want some Taco Bell? At 10:30 at night? Usually a poor life decision when I do that, but I don't know. Is it time for poor life decisions today? Maybe it is. Sometimes it has to be time for poor life decisions. But as long as they're not like, gonna rob a bank, or I'm gonna take heroin. Those are really, really bad life decisions. I'm just talking about poor ones, like eating Taco Bell at 10:30. I guess by the time this game is over, it will not be 10:30 anymore, but whatevs. Things are good. Oracle swinging on down. Spores already popping in pretty much. Yeah, man. 3rd one's coming up now. Really shouldn't be able to do a whole lot. Ling's trying to see, is there a 3rd base I need to worry about at this point? No, there's not. I don't have to take a 4th anytime soon. That's another Oracle on the way, too. This is, spoiler alert, also something we saw with stats. He likes like a 2-3 Oracle thing with Phoenix. I don't know who came up with it first, but ShoWTimE and stats do seem to have very similar philosophies when it comes to PvZ. And I think the first time I saw the Phoenix Oracle thing was with ShoWTimE. Again, I'm not saying he came up with it, because I'm sure somebody in the comments is going to be like, no, Stats came up with that like a year before ShoWTimE used it. It's like, oh, yeah, sorry, I don't know. I'm just saying what I see is all. But yeah, this is very much, Stats did this against Solar a few times. Spoilers, man, I guess it's spoiling the openers a spoiler? I don't know. Not going to tell you anything else. So, ShoWTimE cruising across the map here. 3 Oracles and a Phoenix. There are 2 Queens defending at the natural base. There's another Queen coming up at the main base, but not quite there yet. And 2 Queens and a Spore at the third base. So I think we're pretty much good if you're Ragnarok right here. He's going to lose 2 to 3 drones is my prediction right now, my prognostication here. Free shots on that Oracle. That second Queen needs to pop like now. And that Spore. He's not actually moving in. He has a tiny window where there's 1 Queen and 1 Spore where a bunch of stuff can die, but that's not working out for him. 2 Queens and a Spore at the third base going to be problematic. Lifting that Queen. And how many drones are going to go down? Maybe 2? That was maybe 2. We don't actually have the Game Heart add-on or Game Heart extension enabled here, which means we can't actually see that on the screen. But 5 total drones have died with all that's gone on so far. And yeah, that sounds about right, honestly. It's not that big of a deal. Hallucinated Phoenix coming in, Oracles swinging around, Queen chasing off that Phoenix trying to kill an Overlord, and Ling's running about trying to see what's coming in here, and here comes a small Sentry Immortal Adept push. So this is feeling pretty standard, man. This is really, ShoWTimE and Stats, really similar philosophies. I know we said that already, but it bears repeating. Their PvZ is like the same thing, man. And honestly, at this point, Protoss are like, all right, we have a lot of ways to kill Zerg in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the game. We're not interested in getting into the late game against them. It doesn't go super well for us most of the time. So let's go ahead and just employ some of these better, stronger mid-game strategies the Zerg player has to scout and has to respond to well and try to kill him there. And if it goes late game, we can hang on. We can hang on there. Just hope it doesn't go Mass Infestor. Hope we don't see a ton of Broodlords and Corruptors, and mostly the Infestors is what we're concerned about here. Swarm Hosts are something we've seen quite a bit of in this matchup too. There is a Nidus Worm, or Nidus Network being produced. Probably going to pop up in the front here. There's nowhere really he can place it elsewhere that makes sense. He is making Swarm Host. Alright, so this is... boy, howdy. Swarm Hosts. Kind of liking it. Kind of liking it here. Yeah, and here are the Oracle sniping off the Ravager, so the attack is not as good, and trying to take down Roaches too. Oracle DPS is not bad. Lings do get into the main base and kill a couple probes. There's another one down, but all the Lings are taken care of. Probes can handle themselves pretty well, depending on the numbers involved, but generally they can do it just fine. 4th base done for Ragnarok. Pretty happy about that. And here comes the Nidus, which the Oracles see immediately and burn down with the Pulsar Beam. Okay, that was pretty good stuff by ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE is playing this pretty well. His army supply is actually half of what Ragnarok's is, but most of the army supply for Ragnarok is in Swarm Hosts. And if these Niduses don't get up, then it doesn't matter. Then the Swarm Hosts can't do anything from the other side of the map. Yeah, that Swarm Host is, I mean, that Nidus is gonna die. I mean, he's got vision in all the places, most of the places that Ragnarok wants to go, and this is just giving time for ShoWTimE to make more Immortals, get more Stalkers, get better upgrades. Oh, does he see this one? He sees it. He's aware. He's got an Immortal here to shut it down. Look at how much damage an Immortal does to an incoming Nidus. Because it's armored, right? Bam! Sucka. This Adept sacrificing a bit of its life here. A bit of an engagement here in the middle of the map. We got Lings, we got Roaches, we got Ravagers. The Immortals just trying to stay at the back here and trying to stay alive as much as they can. Another Nidus goes down. Ragnarok is throwing away a lot of resources here on these Nidus Worms. This one might actually get up. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if it is. It is kind of a high priority target right now for ShoWTimE, and it does come up and immediately gets sniped after it erupts. Ragnarok is seriously losing a ton of gas here, you guys. That is 6 Nidus Worms that have died without doing anything for him. They've given him absolutely zero benefit at all. So the Swarm Hosts are like, all right, I guess we do it the old-fashioned way. We walk across the map. ShoWTimE's got a 4th base. In the meantime, that is coming up. Army supply 127 and 98 is much better for ShoWTimE than it was a couple minutes ago. And yeah, I mean, just killing those Nidus Worms was so clutch for ShoWTimE. I don't even know what to tell you. Another one coming up, which the Oracles are going to kill. ShoWTimE is playing some incredible Protoss right now. He's going to lose his 4th base. There's really no saving it. There's your cancel. Locust flying on in. Is there Storm here? There's not Storm here, but there are Archons, which is nice. And the Locusts do take down a couple Archons, maybe one there, but the high ground advantage is looking really good for ShoWTimE, especially on this map. Queens picking off some of these anti-air units. An Immortal Nidus goes down again. How many Nidus have died? 9 Nidus Worms have died in the first 10 minutes of this game. 9. Another one coming up, too. Where the heck is this one? Oh, right here. Right here it is. So the Swarm Host needs somewhere to retreat. This is why you need the Niduses. This is why Ragnarok keeps trying it. His Swarm Hosts out on the map without any Locust to pop are actually really bad units. Meanwhile, Adepts and Zealots at the third base of Ragnarok trying to cause some problems here. The Locusts are hugely problematic. There's no Storm to handle this at all. The Roaches and Ravagers aren't going to get much done with 4 Immortals at the top of this ramp, a bunch of Sentries for Force Fields, and a bunch of Stalkers here too. Oh crap, are they going to... Swarm Hosts are trying to throw up another way to get out of here with another Nidus up at the north side, but I don't think it's going to work. The Force Field's actually working against ShoWTimE here a little bit. The Swarm Hosts do come back around, and I think they're probably going to hop in the Nidus. That is the safest place for them to be at the moment. Oh, hang on. Thinking about it, and they're just going to stick around. Maybe not go into it until they absolutely need to do these Oracles. If they have enough energy, they don't. They don't have enough energy to actually take down that Nidus Worm. Stalkers in. Ling's not doing much there. Army supply 92 to 85. ShoWTimE has a bigger army supply. And Ragnarok pulling back home. He kept his 4th base, which is really nice for him. He needs that 4th. ShoWTIME's taking another 4th base in a slightly safer place, I gotta say. I'm not going to say it's incredibly safe, but it's cool. Spire on the way from Ragnarok. Is he giving up on the Swarm Hosts? I mean, they've done okay for him, but not been the game-ending thing that he wants them to be. Generally, you get a couple Nidus Worms up. You Nidus the third base, you Nidus the natural base, you bounce back and forth, you get one in the main. Probes just start bleeding everywhere, bases get sniped, and the Protoss dies. But ShoWTimE has done an excellent, excellent job holding this off. Like, this might be the best I've ever seen a Protoss player hold this strategy in my entire time of casting StarCraft 2. Which, it's a fairly new strategy, because Niduses are cheap and all fairly recently, you know, relatively speaking, in the history of StarCraft. But defensive Swarm Hosts are actually not good, because you just walk away from them. Well, maybe you don't walk away from them altogether. Ooh, Crows of Bile's actually killing a ton of those Locusts. Yeah, so you just walk away from them. Off creep, they're not very fast. And they're down. So that does inflate the kills on these Immortals. 22 kills on that one, but a lot of these are Locusts. A bunch of them are Roaches and Ravagers too, though, and Zerglings. I mean, it counts. Resources lost, 11,900 for Ragnarok, 8,400 for ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE, again, is just masterfully playing this. Roach Ravager Ling Baneling army here is kind of doing some stuff. Wants to snipe off that 5th base if at all possible. The 4th base by ShoWTimE is done, and he's really happy about that. He might be setting up to take another base down this left side too. He's really worried about more Nidus. Fleet Beacon on the way. Storm coming in at 12 minutes, which seems late for ShoWTimE, but I think he's going to be okay with it. Corruptors in production. Greater Spire coming in. We are looking at Ragnarok going for that Broodlord setup, where ShoWTimE is probably going to make some Tempests. We do have some warping in charge lots. Oh crap, they're going after the Greater Spire. They're not going to get it. There's too many Roaches back here. Ragnarok was too aware of this possible concern. It's happened to him before. I'll tell you that much. We got Zealot trying to make sure this Nidus Worm doesn't come up. And with the upgrades that they have, they should be able to. +2 attack is really nice. The Oracles come in just to make sure it doesn't happen. ShoWTimE clearing off some creep, really keeping Ragnarok into his corner of the map, which I think is just brilliant of him. The Banelings are going to crash on top of Immortals and Stalkers, which, okay. Killed a couple Stalkers, but otherwise not that big of a deal. Oracles have really paid for themselves today. 6 kills, 6 kills, and 7 kills, and a bunch of those happened Nidus Worms that otherwise would have caused ShoWTimE a world of hurt. Tech here about even from both these players, which is just static defense and upgrades. The upgrades here, I think, are favoring the Protoss players. Got +3 attack for his ground units, which is awesome. +1/+1, well, +1 rather, is done for the melee and for the ranged. These Immortals are trying to snipe down. Yeah, that's just freeing up supply. They weakened up that hatchery, so it's easier to snipe later on. Tempests are in production to deal with the Broodlords that Ragnarok is definitely hanging out with right now. They are here. They are ready to go, and he's killing his own Swarm Host to make space for more Broodlords. So both players getting rid of tech that's not useful for them here in the late game. This has been a really great ZVP. Special thanks to Sniper Monkey, my screener, for going through all the replays from Asus Rogue 2019 Summer, finding the best ones for me and telling me which ones to cast. I've never actually had this before, and it's been really nice. So here we go, dropping it down. Archon does get taken out by the Broodlings. They've got the +1 melee attack because they do benefit from that upgrade in particular. Dark Shrine on the way from ShoWTimE. I'm not sure that's just for Archons or for Zealot. Not Zealot run-bys, but Dark Templar run-bys. Yeah, he just doesn't have the composition to handle Broodlords right now. The Tempests are here. Crows of Biles trying to do some stuff against these Tempests, but they have good acceleration. and good range, and they do bonus damage versus massive air, which is what Broodlords are, and that Broodlord might actually die, and it does. So this is a pretty tense situation for both players right now. The Corruptors come in and trying to get rid of the Tempests, but the Stalkers have something to say about that. The Broodlings have something to say about that, and so do the Roaches. And ShoWTimE is in full retreat right now. He does not like what he sees, but great storms, great dodging on those biles. Corruptors don't do bonus damage versus, or rather, Tempests don't do bonus damage versus Corruptors, but they still hit for damage. And Corruptors aren't super mega ultra tanky. They are tanky. They have armor. Oh, but they're not actually as tanky as, well, for example, Ultralisks are. But Ultra's not good here because, again, it's, well, Immortals exist. It's a long story short there. All right, so Storm and all that Roach Ravager. The Tempest picking off Corruptors as well as they can. And Tempest does go down. Storm and Corrosive Bile, each race using their own splash damage to their own effect here. Oracles in production, Stalkers in production, Broodlords. No, don't stop here. The Tempest snapping down one more, two more. This is such good control from ShoWTimE and from Ragnarok. Both players are just playing out of their skulls right now. I don't know what this attack was. Maybe some Banelings, it looks like. But they're taken care of. Don't you worry about it. Storming the Corruptors is actually not a bad idea. Although the Tempests are taking some serious hits right now, but there are no Broodlords here. Actually, there's one Broodlord here. I apologize. He's got all of 2 kills. Corruptor count actually insane for how many Tempests there are. It's so good for Ragnarok right now. Oh, Warp Prism going to get taken out, and it does. No more front door reinforcements for ShoWTimE. He's at 152 to 137 supply. These +3 Stalkers and these Immortals are doing some work on the ground right now. The Ravagers get entirely cleaned up. There's a fungal toss down on the Stalkers for our first Infestor of the day, but that hatchery's been dead for some time. ShoWTimE continuing to push on in, and suddenly he loses all of his Tempests, but it doesn't matter. Is there too much invested into Corruptors here for Ragnarok? It kind of feels like there are. This base is going to go down. Production tab is not super helpful from Ragnarok here. He's making Roaches and Lings, which is really bad against this Immortal Zealot thing with their better upgrades that they have as well. And I think ShoWTimE is just about going to take him down, and he does. ShoWTimE takes the win as GG comes from Ragnarok in 17 minutes and 19 seconds. Oh, the German Protoss making it happen. Cap'n here today. Wow. For a second there, it looked like Ragnarok was unstoppable. He had the Broodlords, he had the Roaches, he had the Ravagers. But at the end of the day, the Broodlords were pretty much all gone except for the one. He made Corruptors to take out the Tempests and that Warp Prism, but he didn't have enough ground army. That is such a dangerous thing for Zerg players, is overmaking Corruptors, and then the ground army for the Protoss is too darn strong. These Immortals putting in work as they always do. 47 kills and 51 kills on these Immortals. Again, a lot of these are Locusts, a lot of these are Broodlings. It inflates their numbers a bit, but that is still killing a lot of Roaches and Ravagers and Zerglings and hatcheries at this point. So many hatches went down in this game. Okay, 2. But 2 is a big number. And yeah, man, ShoWTimE had what it took. Just showed what it takes to take down a Zerg player in a 17-minute game. And yeah, I'm going to hear the comments, well, Ragnarok didn't make, you know, the 15 Infestors. And I don't know, man. I'm not sure what 15 Infestors do against this particular composition. There was a lot of Storm out. Infested Terrans weren't going to do much against the ground army. Sure, if ShoWTimE had gone Carriers, yeah, Infested Terrans would have been good. But he didn't. He made Tempests instead of Carriers. He had Immortals, he had Zealots, he had Stalkers, he had Oracles running around and revealing everything with a Revelation spell, burning down the Niduses. And I almost got to say, this game was probably, I just feel like this game was won when the 12 Nidus Worms got killed. The first 9 or 10 of them didn't even pop, or if they did, they were instantly shut down. Nothing came out of them. The Swarm hosts were sitting around for 2 or 3 minutes, just waiting on their ride to the front lines here to actually launch some Locusts against the natural and the third base of ShoWTimE. But ShoWTimE did about, I hesitate calling it perfect, but I think it was perfect. I think it was perfect denial of Nidus Worms that ShoWTimE showed today. Just an absolutely disgustingly effective game from him. And there's a reason. There's a reason he's the best foreigner Protoss. There's a reason he's in the GSL standings. There's a reason, I don't know, I would not be surprised to see him win a BlizzCon one day. He's on the list of players that I think can do it now that Cyril has kind of broken down that wall. So, good game, man. 32,000 resources lost for Ragnarok, 23,000 for ShoWTimE. Only 3 Immortals went down. End of the game, there were 4. Made 7 total Immortals, and they paid for themselves, as they always do in these EVPs. A couple Warp Prisms went down, which hurts. did get a cancel and a Nexus, which was a big deal, but he didn't actually pay for it too much, as Ragnarok was not expanding a lot behind that either. 47 Roaches down, 8 Swarm Hosts, 8 Corruptors. The Brewlord count death is 11. And then 22 Ravagers are out as well. So just really cost-efficient stuff there from ShoWTimE. When he put the pressure on, he never let up. His ground army was ready to go. He was controlling it perfectly, and that's going to be it, man. That was it. I cannot express to you how impressed I am with ShoWTimE in this game. I came in here expecting a Ragnarok win. I think I did. But no, ShoWTimE shows it. Shows how to do it. He is the boss right now. Good stuff. All right. Beautiful stuff. So that's going to be it for me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.